It's hard to understand the way that you went out. I bet you're living with a little hint of doubt. Maybe next time when you gotta show your hand, you won't cut and run, you'll finally make a stand. 'Cause I know it's true, I'm finally getting to you. We're not through. Yeah, I know it's true, I'm finally getting to you. Existential questions always get you down. All you want to know is are we lost or found? Is there something that you feel you need to chase? I bet you thought you put me in my place. 'Cause I know it's true, I'm finally getting to you. We're not through. I know it's true, I'm finally getting to you. Yeah, I know it's true, I'm finally getting to you. We're not through. Yeah, I know it's true, I'm finally getting to you. You can run, you can hide, but inside, I'm finally getting to you. Yes, it's true. I still love you, but I am getting to you.
Stand by to initiate release sequencer. On my mark. 5,
We're on express elevator to hell. Going down.
2, 1. Mark.
While he's on the channel.
That's right. Well, welcome back to the Resupply with me, guy next door.
Me, DK, apparently.
And me, fan.
Bringing you your lights,
I say we
weekly
take
double
off and
Jesus
nuke the
Christ,
entire site from
double
orbit.
tap of all things Space Marines and Laser Force.
Weekly double Jesus Christ.
Anonymous. Is that Muzz?
I think so. I think
What's
that
up,
is
Buzz?
our good friend Muzz.
Goodness me. Hello everyone. Nice to see you guys. DK with the Prime sub. We're coming in hot, ladies and gents. There's lights and shit happening. There's sounds.
Go Bezos Bucks.
There's that person. Get out of here. Doing a show. Last weekend in Auckland, last original time Resupply Street. Exactly right. Nice to see you guys. How the heck is everyone? Good.
Yeah, it's been, I don't know. It was a not good mental health day yesterday for me. So,
damn.
Yeah, so
Those happen.
yeah, it's better today,
That's good.
but last night was 100% definitely one of the worst days I've had for a while, which is a little
no.
Yeah, which is not overly fantastic on a lot of levels, but yeah, got through it. Yeah, it's the perils in quotes of going back to therapy again. So you start resurfacing other stuff. And I have to keep reminding myself that progress isn't linear, and sometimes you're going to have steps backward, and that's okay. So.
Yeah, if you're anything like me, it'll usually be about 3 a.m. when your brain's like, hey, remember that thing that happened 16 years ago that you still feel really shitty about? Let's think about that some more.
I called that person a bad word in the maze. They were just trying their little hardest, little harder, and then, you were rude.
Wasn't great.
It wasn't great.
Yeah.
Well, we're glad that you're all right, my friend.
Yeah, it was. Like I said, it wasn't great. I actually took today off of work. It was like, nah, I can't even fake my way through calls today. I'm just not going to try.
Yep.
Legit mental health day.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, I'm okay. There was never any danger of anything. It was just not a good sequence of hours as far as that goes. Again, it happens.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's now you get to chill out for an hour and a half and talk some nonsense with us, your boys.
And nonsense it will be.
Oh yeah, for
Always
sure.
Nonsense.
Yeah.
Lucy says that literally happened to her last night. I think referring to your thing, DK. Well, now Lucy, you're here with us, so yeah. So you can hang out with us and help us talk a bunch of shit as well. So it's all good. We're all here together.
They they had some of the locals play a bit of tag last night. I was supposed to go and play. But I done myself a mischief. And
leave Luke out of this.
Yeah, I was say Luke doesn't need to be drawn into your schemes.
if you want to see photos of my mischief, not the mischief, but my mischief, join the Discord because some stuff happened, but basically I did my shoulder in somehow and was all amped up to play.
Somehow.
I was trying a thing and it didn't. No. So I I hurt myself and I couldn't lift my arm yesterday, which meant I couldn't drive down to lasers. I couldn't go and play lasers. So yeah, it was a rough one. It is a little freer today, which is nice.
He's got to drive like this. He's got to shoot like that.
It's mostly because I was hopped up on tramadol. You probably shouldn't get behind the wheel if you're on opiates.
I guess not.
Yeah.
That's generally considered to be solid life advice.
Yeah.
Do not drive while you're impaired on opiates.
Impaired in general.
Impaired in general, but definitely opiates.
I thought about it.
People in my town would get that memo.
Stupid black tar. So I was trying to I was real close to be like, oh, actually I feel all right now. Maybe I'll go down and play, and then somewhere in the back of my mind / the voices sounded a lot like my wife's was like, nah, bro. I was like, yeah, that's a good point. That's a really good point.
Well, I mean, Dan is definitely the responsible one between the two of you. That is.
She's
the voice of reason. I hate that guy.
Yeah.
Always ruining a good time.
But yeah, so Tuesday will hopefully be we'll be playing some tag. It'll be the last time that Lucy will be joining us here in Auckland until before she goes to Brisbane.
That long already? Oh my god.
Yeah, man, time flies.
Time flies.
What I wanted to quickly bring up, and we didn't talk about it last week. Thank you for the gift sub. That's very nice of you. What I wanted to happy September. We're halfway through September, so if you have a favorite creator out there on Twitch, not us. If you have a favorite one, a better one, go give them some money. Go give Gray some money. He's good for it. He's trying to buy himself new PC, so give him some money. It'd be nice. What I was going to bring up though, speaking of giving people money, if you wanna fire some money and get more more value for money, head here. I've got we set up this this merch store, selling some nifty resupply themed clothing. If you want to buy some of it, go there, and you could buy some of it if you want to. You don't have to though. I'm gonna buy some at some point. Yeah, because I
couldn't help but notice that you're using my digital likeness.
Yeah. So I do that so that I make money off your good looks. Yeah.
Okay.
Were you expecting something in return?
That's a $10,000 retainer up front.
Damn. I'm good for it. I'll hook you up later. But yeah, if you want to get some merch, you don't have to. Hopefully it's good. I'm pretty sure it's good. I know it's good. Yeah, so Lucy's working on a new design for us as well. It's the Couch Commander design. That'll be available on that store as well.
The old Couch Commander.
Yeah. That's kind of my housekeeping. Do you guys have anything you want to talk about before we get into the crux of today's topic?
I mean, not really. I was just going to say, I feel like we're all in the same old man boat where I'm like, how do I stay in shape but also preserve my joints? It's very difficult. Like, I should run to kind of keep that fitness up, but that will also cause a tax upon my knees. So
disc golf, my friend. Get amongst. We were hanging out in the sports lounge.
Disc golf is a cult.
We were hanging out in the sports lounge this morning. Oh, Kadama, what's up, fuckers? 38 months, dude. That's so awesome. Thank you so much, lads.
Don't do that, Steve-O.
Yeah, that tickled.
Yep. Stop dancing. The only other thing I will plug is a reminder that I don't know that we have official dates for the proposed Detroit tournaments coming up, but in early January, I'm hearing there are more people who are interested in going to that Detroit triple threat tournament, I guess for lack of a better term. So I'm just going to throw that out there.
Yeah.
I have no other information about it, but it sounds like a good time, so people should go.
So I had a conversation actually with Wolfie about the tournament. Who are you on your way to play disc golf now? Let's go, Bridgie. This is the best cult I think I've ever been a part of. Good job. I'm actually, I've got so many things to tell you. We were in the sports lounge this morning talking about disc golf with Night Owl, and we were talking about like potentially doing a disc golf trip over to Australia at some point. So I think some of the Nats / Laser Force travel for us will at least be like joint lasers / disc golf trips from here on out, which is kind of awesome.
I mean, in the grand
as long as there's still laser tag involved.
Yeah, in the grand scheme of things, that sounds pretty all right.
Yeah,
I mean, especially when you consider. I mean, we know that Nats next year is going to be Loveland.
Yes,
there's some nice disc golf courses in and around there, I'm sure.
I heard there's like 4 or 5 courses, I think.
Well, there you go.
The most famous course in the world is in San Diego. Which course? What's the name of that one?
Well, it can't be that famous. You don't even know the name of it.
Yeah. There's some beautiful courses in Portland, I hear. Morley Field. That's ours course. Yeah, one in Christchurch, literally 10 minutes from the house. Yeah, that's what you want. That's what you want. What I was saying before, though, so there's obviously, we'll talk about that, I guess, before we talk about what we're going to. There are a few Laser Force tournaments popping up, which is awesome. So the next one will be the Detroit Triple Threat. As you say, it's probably sometime in January.
It's early January, and I don't remember the exact dates right now.
The last set of dates, since I talked to Ray just the other day, I believe was going to be the 8th through the 10th or 11th. So the second week of January.
I think at some point we'll get her on, and we'll have a yarn about it, because that would be
quite a good thing to do.
Yeah, I think so. So I was actually, what I was going to say is I had a conversation with Ray the other day, just in regards to, so we've run 2 triple threat style tournaments now in Auckland. The first one I felt went really well. The second one didn't go very well, in my opinion, although I wasn't there, so that's probably why I think that. But we sort of had a chat about some good things that we found out of our tournament and some things to be wary of as well. So hopefully, just off the back of our experiences with the format, and then with Ray's ideas, we can kind of whittle it down to a better tournament, a better style of tournament that kind of works for everyone. So, and she was pretty, second one went well for the most part. There were some really bad things that happened at that one. But I think
Steve got COVID.
Yeah, that was the worst part. Anyway, so yeah, I think it's going to be pretty fun. If you are looking at playing a tournament early next year, I highly recommend going to one, because that style of tournament, for the most part, is really fun to play. It's something new. You get a chance to play with everyone pretty much, which is, kind of a novelty thing that's popped up in the last few years. And I think it's a really good tournament style. So give that one a hoon. But then, more importantly, we have dates and a location for next Space Marines Laser Force Internationals. So
Yes, we do.
the where, while I vamp, the where is Loveland, Colorado.
Loveland. Which is nice from a centrally located massive hub airport, relatively easy to get to, no matter kind of where you're coming from. If you're coming internationally or domestically, you can get to Denver pretty easily, which is a nice bonus. It was also getting the dates as soon as we did was really a pleasant surprise. It's historically it's been kind of
6 months.
Kind of October, November at
I would usually say like January.
Well, I would say November at like the earliest is typically when we get the dates. But getting them this early, I was talking with Marcus, and he was like, yeah, I can't even set up a flight tracker for it yet, for looking for flights from Germany to Denver, because the dates are still too far out for a flight tracker to be actually work, because the flights don't exist yet. So that was like, okay, in the grand scheme of things, I would rather have that be the issue. I'd rather have people not be able to look stuff up because it's too far in the future, and people can start saving their money now.
You're right. 24 months, Stu. 2 years. Bloody good knock, mate. Thank you. Appreciate you.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's nice to have a good amount of of time. So hopefully it means that we get a bunch of people. 2 years of magic. We get a bunch of people like able to head over. We put up with these clowns for so many years at this point. With these clowns?
To be fair, Glitter, at this point, it's self-inflicted. Like,
no one's making you do it.
Yeah, no one's making you do it. We go live, we do the show for ourselves, and y'all just show up and give us grief. I mean, I think it's a perfectly wonderful and fine symbiotic relationship.
That's win-win. It's definitely win-win. But yeah, we appreciate you, just by the way, hanging out with us, tolerating us. There's a clown around. You've seen him in a game. 39 months. Let's go, Hoodie. Let's. Ooh. Thank you, guys. Bloody legends. The subs are coming through thick and fast. Happy September.
Blimey.
Whoa. So where are the Doms?
Yeah, wait for Domtober.
God damn it, DK.
I was hoping it would
Got him.
spray forth.
Get him.
I hope you enjoy your Discord today, Hoodie. I hope it's gonna be great. I'm actually like terrified of the next time we play, because Hoodlum got himself a backyard basket, so he's out the back practicing his short game. So he's gonna be a beast next time we meet. But yeah, so Loveland, plenty of tag, plenty of disc golf, plenty of fun times to be had, and yeah, hopefully we could get you're already deep in this game, perfect. Yeah, hopefully we get a good turnout. Hopefully some of us can make it.
I don't think
from
you guys
Australasia.
actually said the dates.
No, I was waiting for you. I thought you were gonna like. Did you find the date?
I didn't bring it up. Yes,
I thought that's what you were doing.
August 3rd through 9th.
There we go. That's why I said I'm gonna vamp because I could see your computer screen went up. I was like, oh cool, he's looking for dates.
He looks whiter than usual.
Yeah. He's gonna bail us out. Perfect. Estes be real.
And he
Estes was
always
cool.
does.
Didn't we go to Estes? Is
Yeah.
that somewhere we went?
Yeah.
We were there when we went last February, March, whenever that was.
That's right.
Very briefly, but yeah.
Oh, it's gonna be summer. Damn. Oh, that's good for disc golf. I was like, oh, cool. I'll be able to actually go over to Boulder and go snowboarding, but I forgot that it's not winter there that time of year.
No.
No.
You can go hiking in Boulder.
Ugh.
It's quite lovely.
Oh, cool. The best part about skiing is going up the hill. Yeah. So
You can bring some discs with you and throw them around. That will make it easier for you to take a nice walk outside. Jesus.
yeah, what's the point? How do I win this walk? Who's keeping score? Nobody. That's who. Yeah. So obviously we're gonna hype up that tournament much more in the coming months. We thought would ease in gently with just a quick announcement because we hadn't talked about it yet on the podcast. But yeah, it gives people enough time. Hopefully the turnout from the States is really good. Hopefully there's at least like 4 teams. Again, we could speculate later.
I would not be surprised to see like all of the major sites plus homeless Californians like all field a full team. So I would not be surprised to see a Detroit team, a Syracuse team, at least one Utah team. There might by then be 2 separate factions, a St. George faction and a Cedar City faction.
I hope so. I really do. I hope that becomes a thing. That's only going to be good for the competition scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I would not be surprised to see a pretty good U.S. turnout.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that'd be awesome. And then maybe 1 or 2 from Australasia / Europe. So that's kind of what you want to hope for. I think 6 is kind of, the minimum that you kind of want to hope for these days. But with plenty of notice, hopefully people can make magic happen.
Although 6 is a really good number for scheduling
It
issues.
really is.
On a selfish number of games played and most amount of forgiveness in the schedule, 6 is fantastic. However, 8 to
We want
10
everybody to participate. That's great.
Yeah, 8 to 10 would be much nicer as far as that goes.
Glader, that is exactly what I was thinking. But we'll have chats offline about that one, I think. Right, let's talk about what we're going to talk about today. So we were sort of, you want 10? 10's good. 10 is good. 12 is... Have we had 12 before? We haven't had 12. We had 11, right?
10's the most we've had. 10's the most we've had.
9 is the odd number. A large odd number, I think, yeah. 10 would be awesome. 12, I think we've discussed in the past, becomes much harder.
12 becomes 2 brackets of 6 because it's the only way to
it's the unfortunate reality is like by the time you cross that number, everybody's not going to be able to play everybody else.
And just to clarify, so we've talked in the past about locals having to make way for traveling players. Let me clarify that for anyone who's unsure. When you have a tournament that starts reaching the max capacity, if there is a traveling team coming to play that tournament, they will take precedence over most likely a second local site. Now, we've never had it happen before because it's never been an issue. I don't think now it's going to be an issue, especially given, the tournament scene has shrunk in recent years. But I just thought I would make the distinction because, there's been discussion about it in the past. I'm sure it'll be fine. Honestly, it shouldn't be a problem. It's just good thing for people to be aware of, which it's probably a good thing that will lead us into our topic actually.
Yeah, it's almost like we planned this, but we really didn't. So
Segue. So we're gonna talk about lessons that we have learned from our time playing / organizing tournaments in the past, and what things can be taken away from that going forward. Is that right? That's what we're talking about?
yeah, that's 100% what
Woo!
we're talking about.
Congratulations, you know what we're doing on our own show.
Nailed it. Oh, that's why I get the big bucks.
I think I'm just more surprised that technically all three of us have written down notes for this particular topic. It may be one of the first times ever where all three of us actually have something written down to discuss regarding a topic.
So therefore it's going to suck ass because we don't usually do this.
Well, the thing is, like,
Completely.
I found out just before we went live that maybe most of my notes are irrelevant. So
we weren't specific. We can talk about whatever the hell we want. So,
but yeah, so I guess how do you guys want to start? Do you want to pick a place to start, and we'll just sort of?
I mean, I've really only got one written down, so let me get my one out there, because that way, if it gets covered by either of you, I won't be like, oh shit, it's already been mentioned.
Okay,
and I can actually feel like I've contributed.
The floor is yours.
So this is for me the biggest thing that I took away from the years of organizing stuff back in the day. It's kind of a two-parter. Learn to delegate, because you can't do everything yourself. Like you can try to do everything yourself, but
you shouldn't.
If you do that, something is probably going to fall through the cracks. Things are not going to necessarily be done to the level that they should be, because you're one person and there are a fair amount of moving parts to a tournament. So yeah, big, like number one for me for everything. And it's the reason this is the only thing that I wrote down. Learn to delegate tasks of the tournament. You as the tournament coordinator do not have to do everything. Do you need to be across everything and at least have an idea of what's happening? Yes, you're essentially a project manager at that point. But you do not have to be micromanaging every single piece.
I think a big part of that as well is so like in the lead up to this tournament, this is the first time I've done any proper tournament coordinating.
Either works.
Those are both words.
Yay!
Congratulations.
So I man, you skin the line there, buddy. You're getting all sassy. You need to change up your gummies. So what I was gonna say was I get this. Sometimes I get like this like imposter syndrome kind of stuff when I do stuff, right? And one of the things with coordinating like the lasers tournament is like, man, is asking people to help me / to do the things that I'm not good at, specifically scheduling. Is that a cop out? Like, I don't want to be, I don't want people to be like, oh yeah, Steve did such a good job doing everything himself, because that's not even a little bit the case. And so, you kind of feel like bad about maybe asking for help. I would say don't. I would say ask for help and make sure that you credit the people that have contributed. If you thank people along the way, that goes a long way to counteracting that. Like, obviously, if there's multiple people involved in the organizing, that's not a word, organizing of
should be
the tournament, and you don't mention anyone else, then you've got a problem. Yeah. So yeah.
Having been in a situation where I was not the primary, but did a lot of the work, and then had there was no mention. Um, that definitely leaves a sour taste, um, as far as that goes. But
Much as we acknowledge it's a thankless job, it's like a tiny bit of recognition is always nice.
Yeah.
yeah,
And people say it's a thankless job. I don't know if it is. You do, like, people are genuinely grateful. You just need to make sure that, like, that praise is shared. Like,
Yeah.
I think
I mean, it's like a thankless job in the sense that other than the tournament going well, it's not like there's really a tangible reward.
You
to
don't
it.
want a
like,
prize.
The job well done is its own reward.
Yeah.
Case.
Yeah, you're not getting paid to do
although-
it. You don't,
Yeah.
Yeah.
although I do feel like it's it's less of a thankless job now, because because people are a little more aware of
People know.
of kind of what goes into it.
Mm.
I will say historically, if you go back into especially early gen tournaments, that was definitely not always the case.
Right.
So it was definitely a little more. It was a little more thankless because you would get maybe one person who would acknowledge, oh, hey, you couple of people did a bunch of stuff to make this work, and now it is pretty common that you will get multiple people, pretty much everybody being like, yeah, cool, you guys did a lot of stuff, and I feel like some of that has come with it, being with the live streams and everything else. It becomes a little more transparent that, oh, there actually is a lot of work going into the behind the scenes portion of things to make it go smoothly. But yeah, all that is as multiple long roundabout ways of saying, like, you do not have to do everything yourself. You should not do everything yourself. You should outsource certain things to people that may have better skill sets for pieces than you have. So, like Steve-O, that you're building schedules is not really your jam. Outsource that shit.
Oh yeah, I'm
Be
mouthy.
like, DK, I was sick. You gotta go pay the deposit at the restaurant. I can't do it, bro. Boy, were those people happy to see me. I think they thought that you were trying to pull some kind of con on them. It's like, oh, this Steven
This
Gardner guy makes
fucking
a
guy.
reservation and then he doesn't show up.
It's become easier for us because we do have a platform, I guess, to make sure that the people that we feel deserve credit get credit for the things that they do, which is nice. But social media allows you to do that. The awards dinner, at the very least, allows you to do that, to make sure that everyone who came and appreciated the tournament knows, the people that were there busting their ass to make it a good experience. So, but yeah, like if you know what your strengths are, and if your strengths are dealing with management at a site, then do that. If your strengths are I think most people who have taken on the organizing have a decent relationship with their owners anyway, or at least one where they feel that they can work with them.
Hope.
But yeah, I agree. That was at the top of my list, is delegate. Get people around that can help make the week awesome for everyone.
Well, and the secondary thing with delegating things to people is that by delegating things to people, you get them. I realize this is going to sound like a really stupid statement, but by delegating people, you get them more involved, and with them being more involved in the process, they're more likely to come up with their own ideas to help make things better, as opposed to if you're trying to hold everything close to the chest and not soliciting outside input from people. I mean, people tend to have ideas. It's funny that
nobody's great at everything.
Yeah, and so if you've got 2, 3, 4 people helping you with things, odds are they're gonna have some ideas to make things better.
Mm.
And because other people know that, oh, these other people are involved, they're probably going to be more likely to speak up with ideas as well. So it becomes a way to more fully involve the player base in the overall tournament thing. Now, don't get me wrong, tournament coordinating is still you're still it's kind of a benevolent dictatorship. Do not ever confuse it with it being a democracy, because it's not. But
well, not all aspects.
Yeah. There are definitely some aspects where it's a benevolent dictatorship.
It's not a chairocracy. And the chair-tater. I don't. That's weird that you didn't get a notification, Baden. That's really strange. But also, thank you, bro. 37 months. 37. I have 37. Yeah, thank you, bro.
In a row?
Apparently.
Best number ever. Yeah, exactly right. Yeah. Although in saying that, like, you can. I like to think of having a small group of people, like 2 or 3 or 4 or whatever, that you can bounce these things off of. And usually like okay, so in the build up to this one, because I was very new at it, like I would ask you guys lots of stuff about it.
Yeah.
I'd ask Al a lot of stuff about it.
Yep.
So yeah, it's good to have like good
resources.
Yeah, a good counsel.
Good to have people.
Yeah.
Good to have people.
Right. Do you want to go next, DK?
Yeah, I mean, one thing I will mention just as a lesson learned that I think the community as a whole understands, but I thought it might be worth doing almost a little historical dive into this, even though we've done it before, is that the 0-point penalties were a great innovation along with the ref suits, and those things need to stay. It's not a perfect system. I acknowledge that, and that's what I would tell anybody else, but we're working to refine it. And I would just say, like, one of the things that we've learned is maybe there needs to be more sort of both reffing discussion and reffing practice before tournaments happen. Like on your member nights, like I've said to people, if you have 14 on a night, rather than playing 7v7s, I know it sucks to sit out games, but great option is to play a 6v6 and have 2 refs just watching like the main areas, and then able to talk to each other afterward about, okay, what did you see, what happened, like what kinds of things can we look at for next game. And so that way like, it sounds bad, but so that the players have a place to direct their complaints toward, like, hey, did you see this or this? Because it's one thing when you're just like shooting the shit with players in the game being like, oh, you chased, or oh, you shielded, like, yeah, okay, whatever, cool story, bro. But it's like, if you can at least confer with the ref to say, hey, can you watch that? Maybe it does make people a little bit more aware of what they're doing and that kind of thing.
What do you do when you only have 8? You play D&D.
Or that.
Space 4.
Yeah.
CTF.
I think you're right. If you have the
Laser
luxury of having like spare people, like definitely getting your players used to ref calls, because there's still and we've had 0-point penalties now since what, 2018, 2017, 2018. We had ref suits.
Well, we had ref suits before we had the 0-pointers. I think the 0-pointers came about
2019. No,
I think
2018.
We might, yeah. I honestly can't remember which of those.
You know what it was? Is Brisbane implemented it in their local league, and they were like, "Hey, we should play this at Detroit Nats." I think that's yeah.
That sounds right to me.
Yeah,
that sounds right to me. After the 2018 Nats, yeah.
But we still, and to be fair, we've had 2 Nats then with 0-point penalties, but
plenty of other small tournaments as well.
Yeah,
some of which, I mean, have been easily as intensive as a Nats. Like, I mean, that West Coast that we had in Loveland last year, that was essentially a mini Nats.
That was awesome.
The fake Nats Syracuse 2021, I still consider that like pretty much kind of a Nats. I think both the 2016 and 21 Nats are like, they're U.S. Nats, but they're still like counted on the list of tournaments, even if they were fake tournaments or whatever. But yeah, it's just, in comparison to how things used to be, first with, I mean, ref suits, but still having points imposed, and before that, having refs watching, but no ref suits, handing out penalties actively, and then right, the system that all of us first started with, which was players call their own penalties and refs confirm or deny whether or not that happened in a game. So you'd have to remember all the shit that you saw, when it happened, where it happened, go to your captain. Your captain has to hopefully remember it in the same order that you said it. Talks to the head ref. The head ref goes to the other refs and say, "Hey, did you see this, or this?" And they're like, "Oh, well, I saw something, but it was maybe I don't remember. Was it green ramp or red ramp? Oh, I don't know. It was something like that. Was that Fan or was that Steve-O? Oh, I can't remember." And this shit took like 20 minutes to discuss. And then you would come out of the game and be like, "Okay, I got this, and this, and then it would be like, oh, you didn't get the other ones. What are you guys fucking blind?" So then we'd have to have another 30-minute discussion about why this or that wasn't a penalty. And it's just, I'm not to say that it's been completely angst-free since then, because I played little bits here and there. But God, by comparison,
yeah, no, I shudder to think of like the original old school calling the penalties, coming out from the game, and also like people coming out like looking at the scoreboard and going, "Oh, there's only 2,000 points in this game. Let's go fishing."
Well, no, that got shut down very quickly. That's never been too much of an issue, except in Melbourne 2003, for us, because you had the whole players can't leave the armory, or can't go look at a scoreboard before the game, before the penalizing happens or whatever. It was So we.
Yes, but I'm talking very historical.
Yeah.
On that, because that was definitely a thing that did happen. So for everybody who complains about the way it is now, that never had to experience the growing pains of some of these original things, consider yourselves lucky, I think is the best thing I can say.
So I would I bring up sort of some of that to say, and again we've talked about it in the past, but we need to change the mindset of the way we look at penalties. And I think actually this Nats just been was a really good case study for the start of that change of thinking, where it's not the worst thing in the world to get penalized, like we discussed I think a couple of weeks ago. We said the majority of people aren't cheating. A lot of what happens isn't done intentionally, unless you're part of a cult, not the disc golf cult, but the other one. But yeah, it's not like the wording around that player is cheating versus that player made an error.
That player has some technique issues.
Yeah. Like, and so it changes the context of accusations versus like, less whatever not accusation is. There's a disc golf cult.
Friendly chat.
Do we have flyers? Yes. We throw them down a fairway. What's up, Dylan Pasco? Good to see you, bro. I think the Resupply should supply 12 GoPros with our month sub fees, bro. If we could, that'd be bloody awesome. We strap one to each. In fact, the just quickly while you bring it up, the sub fees that we took in over the last or this year paid for the tournament wristbands. They were all supplied by you guys, so thank you. We strap one to each ref head live streaming. We have a panel of non-playing personnel who ref virtually. I mean, that when we did our Major League laser tag pod, I think that was what we had discussed, is that you kind of need that first person view and an independent...
At least we can get the couch commanders doing something useful then.
Trash could ref from his mobile scooter, Michael. But yeah, it's if we could change the way, and I think it is starting to change, but I think what we've learned from tournaments is that if we change the way in which we approach refereeing and the way that we look at penalties, not only will things go faster, but I think the environment will be a lot more positive as well. The playing environment will be much more positive. People will treat each other with a little bit more respect than in the past, which can only be a good thing, I think.
Yeah. But it's mostly to say that if we're talking about things that we've learned from playing and running in tournaments over the last 20 plus years for some of us, that has been the single best innovation to Laser Force tournaments that I've had in my entire playing career.
I agree.
First the switch to ref suits, and then to implementing. Yeah, I don't even want to say 0-point penalties. It's just that it's changing the nature of the way that the game is ref to infractions rather than penalties, because penalty sounds like a lot more severe.
One of the best things that came out of this Nats was not the way that it was done, but so the complaining was a real downer. The complaining about cheating was a downer, but there were players that corrected their technique during the tournament, which is extremely hard to do. And it didn't detract away from their game, and it also cleaned a lot of shit up. So there was less common fouls, it seemed, from players who I noticed personally at the start of the tournament were really struggling with getting their shoulders squared up, or not coming around the corner gun first. It's just it was really positive overall. Right. Things that I have learnt specifically from this one, but I mean, I'm a massive proponent for it. As a tournament coordinator, try and have an emphasis, if you can, towards social gatherings or social activities.
It's on my list.
Oh yeah, doing it will.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think I've played. We played some really positive tournaments in the past, but again, I don't think I've played a tournament that was more together, felt more together than the Auckland tournament. There were having pretty much everyone in the same place, and we've done it in the past. We did it in Ballarat. We did it in Brisbane Holiday Park. Having all the teams stay in one place is huge for camaraderie. All of the best tournaments I've played, people have stayed basically
relatively
together.
Close, yeah.
But also doing fun non Laser Force stuff. Even if you can find one group activity that you can organize, that you can fuck you, man. That you can organize during the week. Helps to really boost people's morales, especially if it's midweek. If it's a midweek dinner, that midweek dinner on the Wednesday night that Rusty organized was awesome for morale. It was brilliant. One thing that's pretty much mentioned by everyone I talked to that attended absolutely loved the post-Nats trip. I set a precedent going forward with that. People loved everything about it. Bro, it was equally enjoyable for me. I loved it. It was so good. Hopefully, I don't know if people have to go that far, because that was, pretty extreme.
That was a lot. I mean, I feel like that particular bar may not be broken anytime soon.
Yeah.
But I think with that, even if it becomes a standard thing of if you extend your stay 2 or 3 days so that you can have some sort of social thing after that is very specifically, yes, we're just being social, doing whatever, some sort of local flavor, that does seem like a thing that should be a part of Nats going forward, because I mean, let's face it, we're a very spread out scene in terms of geography.
Even more than we used to be.
Even more than we used to be. So being able to have those extra, kind of bonding days, as it were, for these friends that you only get to see maybe once a year or whatever. It's not a terrible thing. I don't know what it is about Auckland and bonding social tournaments, because 2006 in Auckland was really the first time that anything like that had happened. That was the first time that kind of Brisbane and Melbourne kind of buried the hatchet with each other around actually socializing outside of things. So yeah, apparently it's just New Zealand that's the key.
It is kind of magic.
Yeah,
it is
fair.
a little bit magic.
And I would agree with Baden on that score, and just like, and I don't want this to come off as though like you didn't do a ton of work for the tournament, but I know you put even more work into like organizing the after trip and making sure stuff was set appropriately and like had a schedule that we could follow, because if we didn't have that and it was just we were confronted with that list of options every day, it would have taken us forever to decide what we wanted to do and who was going where and whatnot. But so it's like having that list of activities and like, okay, we're going to do these things, and you don't have to do everything, but you can go to one event or the other. It was really nice not to have to think about that stuff.
Yeah.
So that was like huge, and just again, massive thanks to you for organizing all that, because that was a lot.
It was I think you're right. I probably did put more work into that, but again, that's because, to go back to our first point, I had Nats gets done with a team usually. Good Nats get organized by multiple people. Having Kelly there, having you there to like pick up the slack of the awards dinner, the help they I think both of you and Al gave towards the schedule, but you made the schedule. All that stuff, and I just dealt with the day-to-day stuff that popped up, and to be fair, there wasn't that much of that, which was kind of good.
It's always nice when that
well,
happens.
and you had all the streaming stuff to worry about as well.
Yeah, but again, I could kind of step away from that, and people would go over and be there to be a part of it, which was cool. I actually felt like I didn't get on the microphone that much during the week. But
that's what Scott was for.
Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah. We all know who to delegate the important jobs to.
That's right.
When it comes to calling the games.
Yeah, I talk shit. He talks fact. So it's good. It's good to have him. But yeah, if you can organize some social stuff, even if it's just a dinner during the week, usually people start arriving Friday, Saturday before the tournament. So if you want to find something to do on the Saturday during the day for people who are in town, or the Sunday during the day, if you want to,
2018 in Brisbane, we had that barbecue at my sister-in-law's house. These are all things that you can do. If you've got either family members that will let you take over their house for a day, or people at the site that have a house that you can take over for a day for a barbecue pre-tournament. It's not the worst thing ever.
Yeah,
or a public park with a disc golf course.
Yeah, exactly. The disc golf on the Saturday beforehand was so much fun, and it was, I think, 10 or 15 of us or whatever, but it was really cool to get out and do something outside together as a crew that up until that point nobody, it was me, Stu and Ducky, I think, that played a decent amount of disc golf, and everyone else sort of first timers. It was great fun, really great fun, but it all just goes towards help making the overall vibe of the tournament better. So I think that's really important.
Yeah, for sure. And I had a related note on that one, just that in addition to social events, but the way that social events happen is breaks in play are essential. I know we all want to get in as many games as possible, and I think certainly some years when we've organized tournaments, I've maybe overdone that in trying to get as much playing time as possible just so people can get heaps of games.
Mm.
But like that downtime, so you can all go to dinner and do some kind of social event in one of the evenings, or having a long enough lunch for people to go and have like a proper meal and come back refreshed and relaxed, rather than trying to scramble on one block of games to go run and get some fast food and come back. Like those things are just essential to keeping the tournament functioning in a way that people can actually function. Because it's all great in the abstract when you say, yeah, we're going to play 12 hours a day for 5 days in a row, and that will get a maximum number of games in for everybody. It's like, but games to what end? Like if nobody's having a good time anymore, what's really the point of all that?
And also it goes towards improving the overall health of the community for future Nats as well. So like I remember in Sacramento, the last Sacramento Nats that we had, where Virus was over, he found himself getting really frustrated halfway through the week, because he was like, it was different from the Nats experience that we'd had in the past that we continually rave about. He was like, why aren't we doing something? It's like, granted we were playing from like midday to midnight, so doing stuff afterwards was a real struggle, but he was like, I was hoping that why aren't we drinking, or like why aren't we going to a pub, or there's no social, we're just here, we just play the tag and then we go home and go to sleep. And I was like, yeah, I guess so. I think you're right. I think like just finding that balance, and then if people enjoy their time, they are more likely to not go into retirement for the next Nats that pops up.
I mean, that again gets back to like the whole number of teams thing that we talked about, because it obviously was way easier to play heaps of games and have time for socials when you only had 5 or 6 teams in Nats.
That's right. Yeah.
Like this Nats was great because we got tons of games in, but we also essentially had like every evening free, so we could always go to dinner. We could always hang out and chat for a couple hours and not be like, oh crap, it's 3 a.m. we need to go to sleep because we have to go play tag in 5 hours. So it's like you could have all that hangout time that isn't taking away from eating, sleeping, and other bodily functions that you should continue while you're at a laser tag tournament.
But maybe that's the balance, right? Is if you've got a tournament with 10 teams, which, I mean, maybe this next Nats will have 8. Let's say 8 is the number that it shoots for, which is still a lot of teams. But if you have a larger tournament, then that's when it becomes even more important that you organize bookend social events. And if you're a player and you're going to these places, it might mean that you take 1 or 2 more days off work. But honestly, I think it's worth your while. Like, if you can afford it. Obviously, don't fucking make yourself go broke, or get yourself fired. But if you can afford to take those couple of days to unwind with your peers, like it does wonders for your mental state.
That is accurate.
All right. What else on your list then? I mean, DJ.
I said I had one thing on my list. We covered it first. So now I'm just here to contribute to
I'm here so
whatever.
just to get fined.
Yeah, I'm just here so I don't get fined.
One thing that I think we've had more of in the last couple of years is trying more alternate formats rather than just, hey, everybody send 6 people from your site out and we're going to play another comp. We've done a lot more things, especially in the States, but you guys have had your triple threat events. For sure, that's something that's different. We've had a number of random draw tournaments in the US. We're mixing up teams constantly. We did duos last year. So those kinds of like slightly different kind of, I mean, not even zany. It's still Space Marines, but it's different. And especially as the scene is going through, I mean, you described it as shrinking. I just see it as kind of like a period of uncertainty because like we don't have quite as much participation like from every site as we used to, where it would be like every site wanted to send 2 teams and that was getting unwieldy. Now, we have more sites to choose from, but some of the old guard have kind of left the game. Some of the new players who are coming in maybe don't quite have the funds to travel yet because they're, still in secondary school or whatever. But there are things in the pipeline, but it's still kind of like an uncertain time, and we had COVID and everything like that. So having those other kinds of events where it's like you don't need to get 6 people from your site to all go to a place, especially if you don't have a site, Right, it makes it a lot easier for people to participate, and that was something I even talked about with Autumn and Disco and other people from Sacramento who don't have a site to play it anymore. But they know, like, okay, well, if it's a duos event or a triple threat event or something like that, I'm pretty confident that if I go or if I just start talking to people, I can get on a team. It won't be that big of a deal. I'll still be able to go somewhere and play. So having those options available, I think, is great. And much like you said with the social stuff, it also, I think, helps improve the camaraderie of the overall scene. If you're looking at some people that you've only ever seen as opponents to now being teammates, you maybe get a little bit better understanding and empathy for them. And then hopefully you're talking more out of the game, so you get more empathy for them as people as well.
Yeah, I agree. I guess the camaraderie thing is quite important because I got some other stuff that'll kind of touch on that. But yeah, I think if you can, the more like funsies, and I think funsies is probably the wrong.
But it is more funsies though than like in internets where it's like you're representing your site or your town or your country or just your particular group of people that you want to associate with.
Yeah.
That has a different level of intensity and different level of competition versus a random draw. And I don't think that's a bad thing per se. Like you can take, it's like having regular season versus playoffs in a professional sport. Like every game is important, every game matters, but obviously the playoffs are like the next level.
Yeah, I think funsies I found gives a connotation that people aren't looking to be competitive, which I think is not quite correct. We can't help.
Some of them I know how to have fun.
Yeah, we can't help but be highly competitive at this game because that's for the most part how we play every time we play. Now, there's maybe different levels of how competitive you are, but nobody's ever going into a tournament or going into a game going, meh, I don't want to win this one. I'm just going to go and goof around, except for maybe Chicken. He used to do that shit.
Seen one or two people.
Yeah.
Seen one or two people one day.
But like, I think, yeah, there's still the expectation there that if we're playing a tournament, we're playing to win that tournament. But yeah, the different formats definitely opens it up. I would say the only drawback for those kind of tournaments is if you aren't already in the scene or if you're just starting off, you don't know that many people, it can be a little harder for people to kind of jump in, especially if you're, if you struggle with like social situations or, again, it's, if you're shy or whatever. But yeah, it is still important to kind of do those tournaments. I agree.
Well, and that was like one thing that I might even suggest for the future is like building off of what we already have is that get the list of players ahead of time of, who's coming to the tournament and all that, but I would like to see some kind of tournament in the future where it's like, you really do have no idea who you're going to play with until you get there. And we have had a couple of tournaments like that are pure random draws. So you need to have a certain number of people.
It really, really sucks.
But I think one thing that might improve that, and this is kind of something else on my list, is that for those random draw kind of events, rather than just having it be pure random, is like get everybody to your site, but then make a list of everybody who's there and have the experienced in the know people go through and make tiers. However many tiers you need for the number of teams that you have, and every team gets one player from each tier, with the thinking that it's going to be a little bit more balanced. So, you don't go to a random draw event and you pull names out of a hat and it's like Baden, Scythe, Beans. Like, oh, okay, well, we know who's going to win the tournament now.
So
Hashtag not my 229. So
we did actually do that at one of the Detroit random draw tourneys. I don't even remember now. It all blends together after a while. But that was literally how we did the teams. Was everybody got there? We had here's everybody. We broke people into tiers, and then I think it was a case of the captains actually like drew people from each from each cup of Destiny and Sadness.
And maybe I'm just recalling that, but I think that's a good idea.
Yeah. So that that was a thing that we have done, and it was really cool. It definitely requires a certain amount of, people have to, definitely go in eyes wide open on, okay, like, we are going to build all these teams. When we get here, there's no guarantee as to who you're going to be playing with, and some people look a little askance at that. Like I said, the one time that I know for sure that we did it, because we did the tiering and the scaling, the teams ended up pretty even. The random draw portion of it kept it interesting, and yeah, it was a really good time. So yeah, again, just another thing to have out there in the wheelhouse of things to try.
But it does make it easier if you, one, don't know a ton of people in the scene, to have an event like that where it's like you're guaranteed a spot. We don't know who you're gonna play with, and people who might be like, well, I don't have a full team from my site that I can come out and play with. Am I going to be able to play if I come to one of these events? So it's like, well, yeah, if we're doing a duo or a triple threat, it's a lot easier to make those accommodations to find spots for people rather than just, if people are bringing a full 6, might not want to roster a 7th, you might not have enough space for mercs. Those are risks that might happen. But for these smaller tournaments, it's a little bit easier for players who may not be practicing or in the scene on a regular basis to try to make some of those events.
Yeah.
Yep.
I've got some other points, but they're more about what I learned from a player perspective, which we can get to.
Well, let's do that. I mean, we've already been going over an hour, so I feel like we might as well transition to that. I mean, I had kind of like my big 3 that I wanted to get through, so that was it. So
okay,
I think that's good to cover it from the player side. What have we learned from tournaments?
Well, so and this may be a little ironic, but the first thing I have on the list is you need to take your health seriously.
I mean, ironic or very fitting.
Yeah, I mean both, considering
little of column A, little of column B.
The dumb / dangerous shit that I did this week, but
do as I say, not as I do.
That's right. But I've been a fit person and I've been a fat person, and honestly, like, as a player, the only thing that I really regret about this tournament was not looking after my health properly, and as a result, like once you start letting your health go by the wayside, then it becomes harder and harder to do these events, and not only to, like, be fit enough to play, but also be fit enough and healthy enough to make it through an entire week without being hospitalized or having to go to the doctor or whatever. But I got a virus, which is just unfortunate, but I think that kind of goes hand in hand. Like, if your general health is good, the likelihood of you getting sick is less. So take it from me, take it from old Uncle Steve, is if you can, make sure that you're taking care of your health. That's just good advice, really. It's just good daily advice. Take care of yourself. Make sure your health is good.
And it is something that changed a little bit in thinking about health and fitness and things like that, to say, well, look, we're going to have to play X number of games per day. And you might have people brush it off and say, well, whatever, I play 8 games every week on member night. Yeah, but it's not the same level of intensity, number one. You're not reffing after every game, number 2. And you're not doing it for 5 days continuously.
Yeah.
It's one thing to play real good for 2 days in a row. Playing real well for 5 days in a row, like that, it does require a little bit of training. Even if you're 19 or 20, it still requires a little bit more preparation, right?
Yeah, and there's like travel and all that sort of stuff. But even if you are younger, it's just good. It's just good habit forming to get into. Like, if you could take it seriously earlier, you don't find yourself in the situation that I'm in. But it is what it is. I thought that was probably a really the one of the more important things, just in general, but like definitely important.
I mean, that's I would definitely put that top of the list also. And I guess kind of, yeah, along with that is, from a player standpoint, and speaking as somebody who, y'all know that I'm not necessarily always the most social or extroverted of people. I don't typically, it's just not typically me. Having said that, like, talk to other people at the tournament. Talk to the people that you don't know. You're all there as players because you have this common love for this game that we're all playing. You already have something in common with everybody else at this event. Talk to people. It's amazing the friendships that can spring up because you just start talking to somebody at a tournament.
And it doesn't.
Yes, later you definitely hear my cat. Sorry.
And you don't always it doesn't always need to be like a group situation. Like, you don't have to hold court, you can be just one-on-ones. And usually if you are, I think if you're a little more, a little less socially inclined, those one-on-one chats are easier and usually a little more special, right? I'd imagine that's kind of the way that those go. Yeah.
I'd say so.
Yeah, and again, I mean, it's the whole camaraderie of the tournament. And again, y'all are wherever you are because you love playing this fucking game.
Mm-hmm.
So that already knocks down like a huge barrier to talking to somebody. Like,
everyone else has already spent hundreds or thousands of dollars to get to that place, so they are just your type of crazy. So
hey,
it's rare to find that.
How long have you played this game for? That's a good one. That's
that's a good icebreaker for sure.
Speaking of camaraderie, the other thing that I had on my list was, so obviously look after yourself, develop yourself, so that your health is tip top, that you can actually do well in the tournament, but also in life. But the second thing is develop your team chemistry as much as you possibly can. We can, as one man once said, it's amazing how a children's game could bring everyone together. 100%. If it's amazing how much having a good relationship with your teammates will help you in a tournament. In fact, I would say by far the stronger your connection with your teammates is, the better you're going to do in the tournament. I've been a part of, our 2006 and our 2008 teams both had excellent team chemistry. And we put a lot of work into actually developing those bonds and those friendships, and we, as a result, played really well. We trusted each other in the tournament. There was no stress angst, as there can often be in tournaments. And I've played in tournaments where there's no chemistry, and we've done terribly.
Also, yes.
We've all been there.
Yeah. And I've seen both.
So if you can develop that stuff early on, spend some time building your chemistry with your team. I would say, DK, you guys put a lot of work in to your team this year, right?
I would agree, and just like you guys said about 06 and 08, I would say that about my 2004 team and the team that we had this year for 2023. Those are the teams that I felt like have had the closest bond, the closest chemistry in time that I've played, and I think that the two teams where I've had the most success, and we've had the most success collectively together. So that is, I think, really important.
It's funny how that works.
Yeah.
It's funny how when you genuinely like the people that you're playing with and you genuinely trust the people that you're playing with, it's funny how how long that goes to smoothing over the rough patches, because rough patches are going to happen during tournaments. There's always going to be a game that doesn't go your way for a stupid reason. There's always going to be some dumb error that costs you the game, because that's just life. And having those tight friendships within the team can basically turn that from a rage moment, because I've definitely seen complete rage blow up moments for teams that didn't necessarily always like each other. I've certainly been guilty of that personally, having that type of rage blow up at people. It can definitely turn that into a much calmer discussion of, oh, this is what went wrong. Yeah, okay, it was my fault. Sorry about that. Okay, let's move on and fix it and go.
We'll fix it in post.
Yeah.
And just a sidebar to that, I may or may not be on a Loveland Laser Force podcast in the near future on that very topic about team chemistry. So
outstanding.
Not sure exactly when that's going to drop, but yeah.
Who's won? Which channel should we send people to?
It's called Loveland Laser Force now, right?
I think so. Is it this one?
Yeah.
Chief?
Yeah,
they've also done some other cool content of late as well. I know they've been doing their own kind of deep dive into the different Space Marines positions and offering some tips. So Old Mischief and Odin's Fist have been doing a nice series on that. So go check it out. Give them some love.
That's that one there, right? I think so.
Maybe. Possibly.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one.
Okay.
Laser Force Loveland. Loveland Laser Force Loveland. What's
one of them?
Something like that.
One of those ones. Right on. That's everything I had on my list.
Yeah.
If you got
well, if we're talking about things you should learn as players, let's talk about the big one. Always remember to buy travel insurance, kids. Never check bags if you can help it.
I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that.
I said if you can help it.
Well, so even I'm a big believer in checking bags. I'm also a big believer in flying reliable airlines. So just be more careful with your money.
That's on
there. Just because a flight is cheap doesn't mean it's a good idea.
Frankly, the opposite is more likely the case.
Yeah. Just spend a little more travel in New Zealand, you'll never go wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's amend that then. Make sure you have at least some supplies in your carry-on, like whatever shoes you were going to wear to tag. I mean, what are these people who have different pairs of shoes?
I know, right?
I wear my sneaker striped thing.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I don't have my tag shoes. Who the fuck has tag shoes? That's the same shoes I use for thing.
I've got disc golf shoes now. In fact, I've got several pairs.
I mean, to be fair, sometimes you need the disc golf shoes.
Thanks, Al. Appreciate it.
But yeah, at least have like one or two changes of clothes in your carry-on. Make sure you have your important chargers and whatnot. Either bring the shoes that you're going to play tag in your carry-on, or wear them on the plane, something like that. But don't put all your eggs in that. Oh, well, as long as I get my bag off the carousel, this trip will go flawlessly. Then you set yourself up for something bad.
I guess for me, because the last few tournaments I've taken team shirts and stuff too, so like it's a little harder to not check those.
So if you can help it, again.
Yeah.
And what was the last? Oh yeah, maybe especially if you're traveling internationally, maybe try to get there more than like 12 hours before the tournament starts. Just saying. Might feel better.
Yeah.
Might feel better.
Because then not only will you get there in time, you also get to do fun stuff. Come do some fun stuff. It's real fun. It's fun stuff. Yeah. Good points, man.
Yeah, and more importantly, on those international trips, people genuinely underestimate how badly the jet lag is going to fuck them. Like, they very much underestimate that. You know, especially people in the States, you know, the most you're gonna, you know, adjust here is 3 hours, and that, I mean, that has its own set of challenges, but
It's
whatever.
worse going west to east though for people in the U.S.
Yeah, but when you're literally changing countries and going multiple time zones and possibly crossing the international date line,
You're probably flipping your AM PM. Like that's just it. Like your body cycle is way out of sync now. You're essentially on the opposite end of things.
Which is part of the reason why people get sick on the international trips. That, and also if there's a Kiwi playing, those two things will get you real sick.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Speaking of making penalties stick, when are we banning the New Zealanders from coming to these tournaments?
Oh, that's some white people shit. That is.
damn.
Getting people sick? Yes, I agree.
More like the
Go back to your town.
Yeah, those are good. The plague bearers, exactly right. Have you got anything else on your list, or is that basically it?
That's pretty much it.
I think we have covered a wide gamut of things today.
He was my favorite X-Men. So I think we covered a bunch of stuff. If you are looking to run any sort of Laser Force tournaments coming up, reach out to people who've done it before you. That's what I did. It's perfect. You get to get a lot of help. You get to take credit for their work, and but you get to yarn about Laser Force. Like it's really nice. You get all the like admin shit out of the way first, and then you get to talk shop, which is kind of nice. It's a fun way to do it.
Agreed.
For those of you who are based this side of the world, this evening we will be in the sports lounge. The New Zealand Warriors are in the semi-finals. They're in the playoffs for rugby league. So if you want to come hang out with us in the sports lounge, come hang out with us in the sports lounge. Watch some rugby league. But NRL qualifying finals, that's the one. You're going to Eden Park? You are going? That's awesome. I'm denying about it. I don't think I will. But yeah, we'll be hanging out in the sports lounge. Come hang out with us if you want to watch some sports, some exciting sports. Also, the American football season has started, so we hang out in there a little bit on Mondays, our time. Sundays, obviously, if you're in America, if you want to come watch some football with us in there.
R.I.P. Jets fans.
Oh, that's one of the it was so shit. Poor Jets.
Really pulled a Caleb there, rolling your ankle right as the season gets going.
It's fucking bullshit.
Or a Zev or a Connor. Any one of the myriad people who have injured themselves on day one of a tournament.
Take your pick.
Yeah.
We will be back next week with the Resupply Podcast. We'll also be doing stuff during the week. I'm making my way through Dave the Diver. If you haven't seen Dave the Diver, what a peaceful, just delightful game that is. It's wonderful. Yeah, come and join us. Come look at some content. Come check out, even if you don't want to buy some shit, go check out the merch store. That one there. It's cool. We got all the good art was done by other people. So Lucy and Spiderwisp did emotes for our channel. They're now on the t-shirts. All money goes to me. I don't actually know
buy
how.
some merchandise.
I don't know how we get paid.
It'll help my future lawsuit against Steve for stealing my digital likeness the more you buy. So
Yeah,
just increase the value of that settlement.
It increases your coffers like plenty. It's great. But for this week, I've been Guy Next Door.
I've been DK.
And I've been Than.
Always remember to add an extra t-shirt to your basket. And always remember to backtrack, kids. We will see you next week. Enjoy the rest of your week. Ka kite anō. fucking button every fucking time, every time.